Hello, and thanks for listening to these stories of the strange, unexplained, and uncanny. I'm John Harford, and I'll be your guide through these mists of Mirkwood. This is an interim that sets up the upcoming full-length episode of Mirkwood Tales. That will be the third installment of the Pine Barren Tales, which should appear in the next several weeks. And besides, I got a new microphone specifically for these episodes, and I wanted to give it a whirl, a Shure MV5 in case you are curious. As always, enjoy your trip from the world of the rational into the realm of shadow reality. Those of you who have listened to the first Pine Barren Tales episodes have heard that photography has played a fundamental role in my life. An academic study of images and imaging, 2 degrees worth, has informed my worldview. It not only gave me a creative expression, but also a starting point for critical social analysis. It provides a literal lens into history, one of my other obsessions. At least history from 1826 forward, if discussing photography. Also, there's something unique about photographic images. They contain silver. Silver halide is the primary light-sensitive composite in film. Photography is alchemical. Light is captured through a transformation of silver. It seems to naturally impart mysticism to the process. It is no surprise, and probably no coincidence, that photography, as a new art, has an inherent part of the spiritualist movement of the 19th and early 20th century. Despite its reputation as a medium that doesn't lie, photography has in fact been a vehicle for imaginative fabrication. The history of photography is inherently tied with reported pictures of ghosts, ectoplasm, fairies, and other strange phenomena. It would seem we've always assumed that somehow the camera can and will see things that we cannot. Finding a negative image on a previously blank film strip seems magical. A print forming on a blank piece of paper before your eyes is very much like a ghostly apparition. Silver is known as a mystic metal. It is long thought to be a barrier or weapon against certain supernatural creatures. Werewolves being killed almost universally and exclusively by silver is the most common example. A ring of powdered silver is a prescription in quite a few hermetic magic rituals to protect against summoned spirits. Silver is attributed to have lunar properties, including affecting the moods and energies of living things. It is specifically linked, magically, to insight and clarity of the mind as well as dreams. Thus, it is also connected with the night, and magic, and the underworld. This is also, pun intended, reflected in our folkloric relationship with mirrors. In Jewish culture, it is important to cover all mirrors in a house where someone has died while the family sits Shiva. During this 7-day wake period, it is believed that mirrors could trap the soul of the recently deceased. Some people take this further and won't allow uncovered mirrors in bedrooms. In my own experience, I've had several friends from Southeast Asia report in their family homes mirrors had to be covered at night. It is believed a dreamer's wandering astral soul could become trapped, or that a spirit can find access to a sleeping person who is reflected in the mirror. In several Eastern European cultures, a silver object, often a mirror or plate, was sometimes buried with a dead person who was considered to be evil. It was there to keep them in their grave. It could be argued that in these examples the reflective quality is important, not the metal. But historically, a specifically made mirror would contain silver. And I would argue the physicality of the material is inseparable from the function. The first mirrors as we know them today began mass production in 1835. Then a German chemist, Justus von Liebig, developed a process for applying a thin layer of metallic silver to one side of a pane of clear glass. The idea of capturing an image in a silver mirror, in this case a spectral image, has a distinct conceptual relationship to an image captured on silver-based photographic negative. Quasi-occult implications aside, negatives are inherently more trustworthy than their digital counterparts. We know well that traditional prints have been faked since not long after the invention of the photographic process. But a negative is still much harder to alter in any convincing fashion than is a digital file. It is telling to me, at least in a speculative sense, that 3 out of 4 of what I consider possibly my own supernatural photos were film-based, with the last case being digitally captured orbs in and around Salem, Massachusetts, near reportedly haunted locales, which, while odd, are still attributable to atmospheric conditions at the time. I've also long supposed camera mechanics may have something to do with the device's apparent ability to capture things that the eye doesn't perceive. A shutter speed on a camera determines just how quickly, or how slowly, an image is rendered onto the film or digital optics. Most cameras can shutter from a second or longer to as quickly as 1/1000th of a second, with the human eye having been estimated to capture images at approximately 1/50th to 1/125th of a second. That is the time it takes for visual stimuli to become imprinted on the conscious brain. A camera can effectively capture images significantly more slowly and more quickly than can the eye. And let us suppose that spirits or paranormal activity occurs in a sense, out of space, out of time, as Edgar Allan Poe said, in a time frame or space tangential to our own that our eyes aren't built to perceive. This is what has led me to conjecture that perhaps the camera can, mechanically, perceive and capture certain things that the eye, or at least the conscious mind, cannot. There are a number of very famous ghost photos. A bulk of these have been revealed to be fraud or an innocent misidentification of some aspect of the photographic process. I have a few favorites, both debunked and enduring, that I'll cover in other episodes. Photography has a reputation for revelation. Indeed, my earliest interest in photography came not from what I was able to see and photograph, but the power of the camera to capture and amplify, magnify, even aggrandize the overlooked. Can a camera capture the literally unseen? Just perhaps some combination of mechanics and chemical magic may be able to glimpse beyond our reality. Photographs have been called stolen reality, captured memory, and frozen time. Perhaps they are a little of all three. In effect, photographs themselves are ghosts, an imprint of experience that lingers outside of time. And just perhaps, when the moment is exact, and mechanics and chemistry come into play, the camera can become our surrogate eye, able to spot cracks in the shells of our perceived reality. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed these personal strange accounts and conjectures. Please like this video, assuming that you do. Subscribe to the channel and share these videos if you like them. I'm interested in any comments you have, and don't hesitate to say hello. You can also find us at mirkwood.com. That's Mirkwood with a Y. And on Facebook at our Mirkwood Tales page. Audio-only versions of the podcast are available at mirkwoodtales.podbean.com, iTunes, and other major streaming sites if you search for Mirkwood Tales. If you are listening to a podcast version of this, search for the video channel on YouTube called Mirkwood Tales. You'll get some additional content with the visuals. Got a tale you want to share with me and my listeners? Send me an email at tales@mirkwood.com or through private message over at the Facebook page. Be safe, best wishes, and stay strange.